Cedar Point just released their list of early park entry rides, and this is what you guys should do about it. Let's go. What's up, cool people? Thank you guys so much for hanging out today. Today we are talking about every single early park entry ride and also the list of rides and the order that I think you should probably ride them in. So I'm going to talk about some tips and tricks with that for the upcoming season. Now, this is going to be a great companion piece with another video that I'm releasing right after this video, where we're going to talk about how you can escape the crowds as much as possible. And in that, I went through some generalities. With this now, I actually have some specifics. I filmed that video like a week ago, but this one does have some specifics as far as early park entry. So again, both videos are kind of going to go hand in hand. So I'll be releasing them like 2 days in a row, like as quickly as I can. So anyway, let's get into this. Let's go. So what Cedar Point just released is their list. It says the following attractions are scheduled to be open for early entry 2024 early entry rides. Those rides are Atomic Scrambler, Calypso, Gatekeeper, Iron Dragon, Kitty Kingdom select attractions, and then Matterhorn, Millennium Force, and Wild Mouse. Now, we're going to talk about all of those just a little bit here. I actually am really impressed by this list, and I'm a little bit surprised that Cedar Point didn't go with the automatic cash grab of Top Thrill 2 being their early park entry. But I'm also, again, impressed by that because I feel like there's some restraint there where they know there's a good chance there's going to need to be a little bit of tweaking during the season that they're going to have to do. So good on you, Cedar Point. I'm glad that you didn't go with the automatic cash grab and instead you went with the thing that's going to give you and your audience the best experience that you possibly can so that you have a moment to be able to tweak things in the morning, make sure things are ready so that then by the time that everything opens, there's just this immediate ability to get onto Top Thrill Dragster. We don't, or Top Thrill 2. We don't want to have people be stuck in this limbo state of just being in line for hours like we had to last year for Wild Mouse. So good on you. I'm so glad to see that that happened. So anyway, let's talk just a little bit here about what rides I would recommend and what order you would want to do them in. Of course, this has to do with early park entries. So early park entries only open to those who have a gold pass with all park passport added onto it, or if you have a prestige pass. Of course, if you have the prestige pass and all park access, then that gets you in also. But if you have prestige or gold, but gold has to have the all park access. Now, if you buy the silver pass, the pass that's going to get you in just for summers, then that is not an option for you. You won't get early park entry with that. The same thing with a gold pass. If you have a gold pass, you will get into the park all year long, into just Cedar Point all year long, but you will not have early park entry. So those are two very important distinctions for you guys to know as far as ticketing and passes go for that. If you are staying at Express Hotel, Castaway Bay, or Sawmill Creek, or at Hotel Breakers or Lighthouse Point, you will get early park entrance for any of those. Same thing with the Cedar Point Marina. If you are docked there, I believe that'll be for the whole year. No, even if you're just staying there for one day, then you'll be able to come in through the Marina gate from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. So that you can get into the park early and be able to ride as many rides as you want from this list as possible. So there are several different options, several different gates that you can go in. If you're at one of the hotels, you could go in from the Magnum gate, you could go in from the Windseeker gate, or if you are staying at the Marina, then you could go in the Marina entrance. Of course, anybody else can come in through the main opening gate. Really, I think probably anyone can go in through any one of those gates. I don't think they like gatekeep you or anything like that, try to keep you out from a certain place. But that's the way it is designed to kind of work. You have several different gates that you could go in that are a little bit closer to you depending on what kind of ticket or what kind of stay you are having at Cedar Point. Now, with these tickets, Of course, things can change a little bit. If you're coming in through the Magnum gate, I would recommend probably something a little bit different than if you're coming in through the main gate or you're coming in through the Windseeker gate. But either way, I'm going to encourage what I would say probably is your better option is, of course, we want to narrow this down first to the coasters. So the coasters that we have would be Millennium Force, Wild Mouse, Iron Dragon, and Gatekeeper. Now, only one of those I see as rides that get a massive line immediately, and that's Millennium Force. Now, unfortunately, probably most people are going to think that. And if you just watched or are going to watch my video about escaping the crowds at Cedar Point, then you're going to realize that usually I say that you should try to think unlike the crowds. Because this is early park entry, even the crowds are going to be small, usually. Millennium Force will probably have a small line. Now, maybe if you're not the very first person in line or not early on in that line to get into Cedar Point, then at that point, I would recommend that you just go off maybe to Wild Mouse or go hit Gatekeeper as your first ride of the day. Actually, let's retract that just a little bit. I would never say go to Wild Mouse first. I would say go to Gatekeeper first. I think once again this next year, Wild Mouse will take a very long time to boot up and get ready. It was horrible this last year, and I don't expect anything better from it this next year either. So I would say give that thing a good hour for the associates to figure out what's wrong with it, because there's always something wrong with it, and instead go cut your losses and go hit Gatekeeper. One thing that I do think is best though is get your furthest ride out of the way. So get straight back to Millennium Force, ride that ride, get a massive ride out of your list for the beginning of the day. Go hit Iron Dragon because very few people are going to want that right away. And then we're going to go on our way from Iron Dragon. We're going to go hit either Gatekeeper or Wild Mouse. If you see Wild Mouse is running, then hit it. And if you don't see the Wild Mouse is running, then go hit Gatekeeper because you'll have to pass it one way or another. That would be my recommendation of the whole thing. Now, one thing I love about this list is that it is very family friendly. A lot of families, you know, your kids are up at 7 a.m. anyway. So you can come to Cedar Point at 9 o'clock and come for that early park entry hour and be able to hit a couple different things, especially those Kitty Kingdom rides, especially Iron Dragon if you have a little bit older kids, and then also being able to hit Wild Mouse and Matterhorn and Calypso and the Atomic Scrambler. I think all of those are awesome. So coming with my daughter with the All Park Passport and the Gold Pass for this year is going to be a really good experience, I think, for me to be able to do with her. So I think this is a really nice mixture of both groups of people that will be at the park the earliest at Cedar Point. If you are a family who your kids have woken up early anyway and you want to go to Cedar Point, then great. This is a great opportunity for you to do that. You can go early to Cedar Point and be able to ride all the rides that you want to do. If you are a thuzy and you are just rearing to go and you want to ride every single ride, then get there at early park entry coming to Cedar Point, and then you can ride several rides early on that will get those checked off your list early on. Also, of course, if you have the Prestige Pass, then on top of that, you can also get your extra fast lane for the day that you can pick up in any one of the different stores across Cedar Point. And you can get that individual fast lane that you want to use and then be able to use that on any of the other rides at Cedar Point throughout the day to kind of help you along even more. So it's really a double helpful thing for those with the Prestige Pass. So there's just a ton of extra possibilities that are really going to help you here. I'm very impressed that we have 4 coasters going on. I'm very impressed that a couple of those coasters are very family friendly. And I'm very impressed that we also have Kitty Kingdom open early on in the day. And I'm also incredibly impressed that Cedar Point showed restraint and didn't try to just squeeze every dollar that they possibly could out of their public by being like, oh, look, you can get an extra ride on Top Thrill Dragster or Top Thrill 2, the biggest new ride that's opening. I think this gives a much better experience for people altogether, knowing that that ride is going to be open an hour after early park entry, but then they have an hour, maybe 2 hours, when they can test that ride and make sure that it is ready for people by the time that the public actually gets in there at 10 o'clock. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear from you guys down in the comments. This is a very rush job video. I'm trying to get it done as quickly as I possibly can because we just found out about this. So anyway, I'd love to hear from you guys down in the comments. Please press that subscribe button. I try to get information out to you guys as quickly as I possibly can. And even on my live stream earlier today, we were able to discuss this just a little bit. So if you're watching lives, I go live usually Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So you can go check those out. And sometimes there's stuff that comes up in the chat that's going to be very helpful. Not to mention, we just have a lot of fun together. But thank you guys so much for hanging out. And press the subscribe button if you haven't. Become cool people with all of us. Obviously, we're all incredibly cool, right? And thank you guys so much for hanging out. And let's go. Hey, thanks for watching. I release theme park related videos at least a couple times a week, so press that subscribe button if you made it this far. Also, check out similar videos in the playlist to the right or find my newest video to the left. Thanks again, and let's go!